This is the third video I'm making looking at the mark of the beast. Before I share some thoughts, I'd like to address a couple of comments made on the last part 2, by a couple of my YouTube user friends, Logo Guy 7 and Bournemouth Testicles. The both of you ask a question about the mark of Cain, and I'd like to say hello before addressing your questions, and thank you for your comments. I've looked into what the mark is even before you asked the question, for my own peace of mind, and probably a lot more since you actually asked the question. What is the mark of Cain, or what was the mark of Cain? Basically the Bible isn't clear, so I can't give a clear answer. What I will say is that the mark of Cain is definitely connected to the mark of the beast, and the reason I say that is because if you parallel the two accounts, the account given in Revelation chapter 13 and the account given in Genesis chapter 4, there are connections there. And I say that because if you look at the story of Cain and Abel, the two brothers are basically offering worship to the Creator. One form of worship is accepted, the other is rejected. Cain, because of the fact that his worship is rejected, rises up and slays his brother and receives a mark. When you look at Revelation 13, again two forms of worship are offered to the Creator. One is accepted, one is rejected. Those whose worship is rejected rise up to basically slay those whose worship is accepted, and they receive the mark of the beast. I'm sorry I can't give you any more details or maybe a better answer to your questions. I'm hoping that what I've said has helped even a little bit. So moving on from that, Cain's form of worship, which is basically righteousness by your own works, has been perpetuated from that time even until today, and will go on until basically Christ intervenes. It's a worship system that is based on the traditions and ideas of men. That worship system developed to the extent where it basically led the Creator to decide to flood the earth. And not long after the flood, we read in Genesis chapter 10 of the birth of a mighty hunter by the name of Nimrod. This guy, you could say, resurrected that form of religion, which is indirectly the worship of the devil. He decided to build a tower in rebellion to the Creator, because the Creator had basically said to Noah, after he had gotten off the ark, you need to go into the four corners of the earth and replenish the globe, fill it up with peoples. But Nimrod had other ideas. He got all of the people together in a kind of old world order and decided to build a tower, and at that tower a false religious system was born. When the Creator came down to investigate, he did an investigative judgment. He passed a sentence after an investigation, and what he did, he basically confused the languages, and the builders of the tower were dispersed and they went to the four corners of the globe. And that false religious system was taken to the four corners of the globe. And if you look at the origins of all the false religious systems, they all can be traced back to Nimrod and the worship of him, his wife and his son Tammuz. In my next video I'm planning to look at how this false religious system has been kept alive throughout the ages by various world empires. We'll be looking at the 7th chapter of the book of Daniel, and from there we'll go on to Revelation chapter 13, and we'll touch briefly on Revelation 17, also Revelation 14, and maybe even Revelation 18. So I would ask you to study Daniel chapter 7, look at the rise and fall of the various empires described in that particular chapter. You've got a lion, a bear, a leopard, or a leopard-like beast, a dragon. You've got 10 horns described and 7 heads. You've got a little horn that rises up from amongst the 10 that plucks the 3. We'll be looking at all of this, and this little horn is responsible for a lot of things. Blasphemy against the Most High. This little horn will seek to change times and laws, and the changing of times and laws is inseparably connected to the mark of the beast. So study Daniel chapter 7, because next time, by the Most High's grace, that's the chapter we'll be looking at. And until then, pray for me as I pray for you all.